Good morning, everyone. It's 5 a.m. on Saturday, and today we are pumping some grease traps. So grease traps can be found in almost any commercial kitchen or restaurant. So the purpose of them is to catch any fog, which is fats, oils, and grease, from entering in the sewer system after washing dishes. So here we have restaurant's dishwashing area, right? So they're gonna wash everything here, and a bunch of food and stuff is gonna enter into the drains. So it's all gonna drain down in these tubes here, and then it's gonna drain into our grease trap right here. And then it's gonna work based on gravity, right? So anything that's a fat, oil, or grease is gonna rise to the top, and then any solids is gonna sink down to the bottom. And then any water, it's gonna let it escape through here, and then any of the fats, oil, grease, or solids is gonna stay in the trap, which is what we don't want entering the sewer system. Over time, these particles are gonna build up, and it's gonna start getting more and more full of fats and oils and grease, and that's when they needed to get pumped out. And the more grease that your restaurant makes, the more often you're gonna need to get it pumped out. So we have some customers that get it serviced every week, like a Chinese restaurant or a taqueria. If you don't create that much grease, you can do maybe every 3 or 6 months. So the customer just got here. We're gonna get the service done. Always get an extra pair of gloves just in case, because if you have to take them off when you're in there doing the service, you don't want to be left without gloves. We're gonna bring our fresh water hose to connect to the customer's water supply and get the grease trap clean. Our spatula, this is gonna scrape off any of the food bits that are on the sides, and you can also use it to open it up. And then to open the grease trap, sometimes you need either a crescent wrench, an Allen wrench, or a drill. Just depends on how the grease trap is to open it up. And then for this stop, we have an adapter to connect our fresh water line to their sink, because it's a different size. We're gonna go ahead and open this one up. And record keeping is really important when you're pumping grease traps, because every restaurant is mandated to have their grease trap pumped before the health inspection. So we always take a picture before and after every cleaning to let the customer know that we were there and it was pumped. Here we're gonna pump up everything on the top first, the top layer. See, it's sucking up all the hardened fat, oil, and grease. Take a look at that. So over time, all of that is gonna rise to the top of the grease trap. And then if you don't get it pumped out, it's gonna end up getting clogged. And then your kitchen sink's gonna back up. You're not gonna be able to do any dishes. And since it's been sitting here for so long, weeks at a time without getting pumped, you can smell it. It's almost pumped empty. Right, and then at the bottom are all the solid food particles, because that's all gonna sink down. And then we're gonna take water to get the rest of it nice and cleaned out. And then you wanna be careful, because anything that sprays back up at you, it's gonna stain your clothes and it's gonna stink. So then we're gonna take this off as well. Make sure to get this nice and clean. You see the back of it? It's all dirty with the spatula. Take that out, take a look. Get the spatula. And then take a look at the line. You can see all that we're cleaning out, right? Want to get all that stuff cleaned out so it doesn't clog up. All right, so we can put the bazooka right in the corner, and then the water does all the work. And you can see we're running the sink to rinse some stuff out, and more stuff is coming out of the pipe that we just cleaned. And then we're gonna put everything back exactly the way that we found it. You don't wanna forget to put any filters or anything back, because then the grease trap isn't gonna work like it's supposed to for the customer. And now, the trap is all clean. We're gonna close the valve. We're gonna take a picture of how we left it for the manifest, send it to the customer. Boom, nice and squeaky clean. Now we can close it up and we're good to go. And some grease traps are in hard to reach locations, but that's when we bust out the barrel on wheels and then we go into the restaurant right next to the grease trap. We can pump it out into this barrel, we bring it out back to the truck, and then we can empty it. Because if you look, we had to park all the way over there, but instead of running 150, 200 feet of hose, we can just bring this barrel right up to the grease trap. Sometimes the grease traps can be in the ground or sometimes they're above ground. So this one's above ground right here. Open it up. There we go, that one's ready to be pumped. So we're gonna get it plugged in. All right, so we just need a power source and then we're gonna go in and get it all pumped up. Put the lid back on, and we're good to go. Just get the vacuum unplugged, wrap back up. See, that's much easier than running 200 feet of hose to get all the way back there. And now we just need to pump empty the barrel into our tank, and then we can get it loaded up and head to the next stop. So now we open the barrel and then we can get it pumped out and we're good to go. That grease trap wasn't that big. And now it's empty, we can load it up and head to the next stop. Mucha manguera. Our schedules for cleaning can also be really strict. Since the traps smell so bad when we're cleaning them, lots of restaurants want us to come before they open and before their customers are there eating. Usually we make an appointment for when the workers first get there in the morning, so then they can open up, we can come out and clean it before anybody shows up to eat. Unfortunately, this means during the route, some waiting can be built in because we got to this stop at about 8:15 and the workers aren't going to get here until 9 o'clock. Other times we have to set up an appointment with the owner and we just have to be on time. You can't come and go as you please. And lots of places won't give us a key because they don't want us coming in and out of the restaurant when nobody's there. Yeah, waiting is just part of the route. This one's deep. And when you're pumping grease traps, you need to make sure that you bring a lot of hose. Lots of times you park far away from the entrance to the restaurant, or the grease trap is in the very back of the restaurant. You need to make sure that you're able to get there. Cleaning grease traps can be really lucrative because it isn't easy. And in my opinion, it smells a lot worse than cleaning porta potties. They can go months at a time without getting service sometimes, and that's what makes them smell bad. That being said, let's compare some of the other factors to cleaning porta potties. With porta potties, we can create our own schedule, come and go as we please, and everything is mostly serviced weekly. If not weekly, then twice a week. We can build our own routes, and usually access is pretty easy to get to. Most toilets are within 10 to 15 feet of where you can park. And usually a stop will take less than 10 minutes. I would probably say 7 or 8 minutes for a good service. Whereas a proper cleaning for a grease trap usually takes about 30 minutes. As you've seen, sometimes you can't park that close. You've got to extend 100, 150 feet of hose or more, and we have to work around the customer's schedule. We usually set 1-hour time slots for each customer so they know an approximate time when their appointment is. But considering those time restrictions, we can charge a lot more for a grease trap service. Usually the amount being pumped is 50 gallons or less, but you can charge upwards of $150 per cleaning. I would say for porta potties, getting $50 for a single cleaning would be considered excellent. So since we can charge so much more for a grease trap cleaning, you don't have to pack as many in a single day in order for the route to be profitable. I would say 6 or 7 stops at $150 each, and you have a pretty solid day. But since we can't pack the routes as densely, there's a lot more driving involved. In between stops, sometimes we can be driving 20 to 30 minutes or more. Sometimes you can get lucky and stops are lined up next to each other, but the service schedule of every restaurant is so erratic that it's hard to predict, and you just have to accommodate what the customer needs. So our schedule is always different. And if you're comparing starting a business in between the two, porta potties and grease traps, it costs a lot less money to get started doing grease traps. They use very similar truck equipment, right? You're gonna need a vacuum tank and a truck, but you don't need to buy the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of plastic in order to start generating revenue. All you need is your truck and some customers, and you can start generating revenue. Also, talking about rent, it's a lot cheaper just to park one single truck than it is to store your truck plus all of your porta potties. And if you're really lucky, your wastewater treatment plant will let you take mixed loads of fog and septic waste and dump them at the same time. If that's the case, you should definitely add this service to your offerings if you own a porta potty rental business already, because you already have the specialized vacuum equipment that you need. But if you're in California like us, they don't allow us to take mixed loads, so we need a separate truck for porta potties and grease traps, so it doesn't really make sense to offer the services side by side. You need a different truck anyways.
Just remember, every single restaurant has a grease trap, so the demand is there. It just depends on whether you can handle the work and the smell.
If you want to start offering this service or start a grease trap pumping company, you can also offer services such as commercial hood cleaning, drain line hydrojetting, and cooking oil recycling. Restaurants usually need all of these services, so you can become an all-in-one restaurant services company by offering all of the above. I hope you enjoyed this video about pumping grease traps, and I appreciate you watching. As for me, I'm gonna keep my day job pumping porta potties because that smell has nothing on this. I'll see you on the next video.